This guy's been talking to me for 20 minutes. Forgot my fucking name. Nigel Mainville, everybody, what's up? We've got a hot fucking crowd tonight, don't we? I mean, literally, we got a hot fucking crowd tonight. You guys look like you're baking. Oh, man. This is great, guys. This is my second time being invited to another city to do comedy for a nice crowd like this. It's really cool. First time I got invited to another city, the night ended with me pissing myself while sleeping on a bench outside an airport. Yeah, someone else has been there and done that. Sounds like a story. See, what happened was, I thought it was like Beijing, where the airports were open 24 hours. Showed up to the airport, was not open 24 hours. That's okay. Hey, 你讲什么故事？我也想听。哇，你们太厉害了！你的故事肯定比我的好意思多了。All right. All right. He said my Chinese is very good. Typical response when I call them out. All right. So yeah, so I get to the airport drunk, realize airport's not open. So I go to sleep on a bench like a homeless person because I don't have a hotel in the city. So technically, I am a homeless person. Wake up at 4 in, feel a little warm in this area. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I have to get on this plane. What am I gonna do? So I remembered I have a dry change of clothes in my backpack that I've been using as a pillow. Run over to the bushes, change in the bushes like Superman, leave my wet clothes in the bushes. Then remember, in my wet pair of jeans was my passport. Oh yeah, I'm fucked now. So, I get my passport, I put it in my backpack somewhere dry, and I call my friend. I'm like, dude, I'm freaking out. I just peed myself outside of this airport. He's like, dude, it's 4 in. I know, and I gotta get on this plane, and my passport was in there, and it's wet. And he's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I don't know, but if I ever make it back to Beijing, I've got a story to tell on stage. All right. So finally, the airport opens. I go into the bathroom, and I get under the hand dryer, and I start drying out my passport. I'm like, come on. Go over to the line for the check-in counter, wait in the check-in counter, checking to make sure my passport feels dry, my picture looks good. Picture doesn't look good. There's like all this white discoloration. I'm like, dude, did I damage my passport? Am I not? What's gonna happen? And I start rubbing it, and it starts coming off, and that's when I realize it's mineral deposits from my urine. This is a fun story, isn't it, guys? And so then I hand it to the woman behind the check-in counter, and it worked, and I get on the flight, and I got back to Beijing, and the story ended happily. And I used that very same passport to come and talk to you all today when I wrote the Gampier. So I work at a kindergarten. Yeah. Now, when my kids pee their pants at nap time, I'm just like, hey, we all make mistakes. Yeah, I was just like, you know that book, Everyone Poops? I think we need another sequel. Everyone pees their pants, including your teacher. But the school, it's got this really weird name. It's called Muffy's, which I think would be a really good name for a strip club back in America, because muff is slang for vagina, everybody. How did my school get that fucking name? Well, I'll tell you. The owner, he had a daughter, and the daughter made a picture of a bear, and she wanted to name the bear something cute, and she came up with Muffy. Don't know why. And he decided that would be the good name, and he named it after the bear. I feel like this bear could be a mascot at a strip club back in America. Muffy, we could call him Fuzzy Muffy. Except Fuzzy Muffy wasn't very fuzzy, was she? Because it's a strip club, and it's not the 70s, you know? Sorry, that's a gross joke. So as you can tell, I probably get into a lot of trouble at my school, and I do. I get into a lot of trouble because I've been having some problems lately, and I've been self-medicating. I've been just self-medicating a lot. I've been putting a little bit of Bailey's in my coffee at work, and my boss found out, and he's like, Nigel, you can't be drinking at a kindergarten. That's unprofessional. I'm like, come on, I need to take the edge off. I'm not feeling so great. No, Nigel, if I catch you drinking here again, you're fired. I'm like, come on. I'm just like, I need my boss to get off my back and let me get through this. I'm like, come on, boss, just let me know. I'm just like, come on, boss, I'm having some relationship problems because it's really difficult being engaged to your boss. Yeah, I know. It's rough. But no, that's not the big problem though. The problem is my kids. Like I try to like have strategies to keep them well managed, like to have them behave and like line up nicely. So like I got like little chants. Like when we line up, I'm like hands behind my back and a bubble in my mouth. So they shut the fuck up and walk straight. But then the other day, that's not what happened. A kid at lunchtime comes up to me and he says, hands behind my back and teacher Nigel in my mouth. I'm just so glad I don't teach back in the States because there'd already be a police investigation into this statement. You know? There'd be a counselor sitting there with the kid being like, okay, Eagle, because, you know, Chinese names. Okay, Eagle, show me on Muffy Bear. What part of teacher Nigel did you put in your mouth? Teacher's just way too enthusiastic, or Eagle's way too enthusiastic. He's like, the whole thing! Damn it, Eagle. But that's not actually what gets me in trouble, like, outside of school. Like, outside of school, what gets me in trouble is my teacher voice. Because when you teach kindergarten for too long, you start using your teacher voice outside of school. You know, like, I might want to use it right now when people are being noisy and be like, I'll wait until you listen. But that's way too patronizing to be doing in a bar like this. Imagine you're at a bar like this later, the band's on, everyone's partying, someone bumps into you and spills your drink, and you're like, do you see what you did just there? You better clean it up and say sorry. Later on, you're walking around the bar and everything, you run into a girl that you think is really cute, you want to talk to her, you're like, oh my God, you're so pretty, what's your name? Emily, oh, that's a wonderful name. It's a pretty name, Emily. How old are you, Emily? 27? Are you sure you're not 27 and a half? That's a lovely outfit, Emily. Did you get dressed all by yourself today? Do you need to get undressed all by yourself, or do you need some help? Right? That's creepy. You can't be doing that. And you definitely can't be at the bathroom at a bar like this later and run into your friends and be like, wow, there's 3 of us here in the bathroom, and if each one of us needs 2 lines of cocaine, how many lines do we need? 6. Great counting, everyone. Now, if we have 6 and I do 2, how many do we have left? So yeah, and the thing is you don't need a teacher voice. Everyone thinks you need to act differently in front of kids. You don't. Kids and adults, we're not that different, right? We're not that different. Like the other day, we were doing a lesson, we were talking about rooms in our house, and I mentioned the bedroom, and I'm like, oh, all right, Lion. So tell me about your bedroom. Tell me 3 things that you have in your bedroom. And he's like, well, I have a bed, and a lamp, and many, many toys. I'm like, really? My fiance and I have a lot of toys in our bedroom, too. We don't have any cars or airplanes, but we definitely have something that sounds like an airplane. So yeah, that's me at school. That's the kindergarten though. We have an after-school program as well. And at the after-school program, we try to bribe them to like get them to behave well. We give them this little fake money they can redeem for toys. We call them Muffy dollars. Sounds a lot like what I put in the G-string at the strip club, right? And so this one girl had saved up a lot of Muffy dollars, and she was really excited to go buy a toy. And she comes back to show me, and she goes, teacher, look. I'm like, wow, Hannah, that's a penis. Now, how did that happen? Well, the person in charge of buying the toys bought a package of assorted toys on Taobao. Didn't pay attention to what toys were in that assortment. Probably would have gone a lot better in Chris and I's bedroom, wouldn't it? So then, she's showing this to me, and I don't think the mother's noticed exactly what she's got yet, so I look at the mom like, do you see what? Yeah, she got it from the basket of stress relief toys, you know, the toys that you squeeze to relieve stress. I'm like, yeah, I know how it works, I use mine all the time. That's my nickname for it, my stress relief toy. But I think we should be giving little pricks little shits, you know. She's about 15 years too early for her first toy penis, so I'm all like, Hannah, do you think I could borrow that? I think our principal, Maddie, really needs to see this toy. It's kind of interesting. She's like, no, it's mine. Wow, 5 years old, you're already jealous. Another girl's going to take your penis from you. Jeez. Yeah, I know. So I'm like, come on, just 1 minute, Hannah. Just let me borrow it for 1 minute. She goes, no, you can't have it. A little attached. Finally, I get her to give it to me. Go to our principal. I'm like, Maddie, can you look at this toy for a second? I think it's a little inappropriate. She goes, why? I'm like, well, it's a, and she goes, no, it's not. Isn't it like a cute little cartoon character? I'm like, nah, it's definitely a guy's nigga. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, no, isn't it like, it's like a cartoon character. I'm like, it's got a face. It's got a cute little face. I'm like, it's also got a hole on top, where the, comes out of. She's like, no, isn't it a Pokemon? I don't remember Pikachu being part of the first 150, okay? I don't remember Bukake being an attack that you could use on the Charizard. Don't remember that. Finally, I convinced her, but it took a while. She's like, I just don't see it, Nigel. I just don't see it. I'm like, listen, do I need to whip mine out and show you? And that's how I got fired. Hashtag me too. But no, I finally convinced her. I went back to Maddie. Hannah. I'm like, Hannah, that toy that you wanted, that's actually broken, so you can pick a new toy. That was broken. She goes, what was wrong with it? I'm like, well, first off, it wasn't even attached. So come on, can you just pick another toy? Can you pick another toy? Doesn't want to pick anything else. Throwing a huge tantrum. Finally, the dad comes down. He had been waiting in the car. He's like, what's all the fuss about? I'm like, well, you see, sir, we accidentally gave your daughter this toy. We think it's a little appropriate. Sorry, it was a mistake in the ordering. It won't happen again. He goes, oh yeah, we can't have her playing with something like that. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's a big problem. And he goes, no, you don't understand. I can't have her walking around the house playing with that. Having my wife ask me why hers is bigger. Like, oh, see what you mean. So, yeah, I'm traveling to Wuhan right now during the summer, which means I'm not home. And I miss home. You know why I miss home? You know what the best part is about going home back to the States? You know what the best part is about going home? Do you know what the best part is about going home to the States? That's right, smoking weed. How did you know? Smoking weed is the best part. Some of you guys in Wuhan, though, you're probably like, dude, Nigel, we're in a second-tier city. You can smoke weed in China, man. Like, dude, we can help you out, dude. You can smoke weed in China. And I don't smoke weed in China because it's really risky. It's very expensive. The quality's not that good. And my fiance won't let me, so I'm not smoking weed in China. But back home now in Massachusetts, it's fully legal now. Anyone over 21 can buy weed, and I love that because I hated medical weed. I hated medical weed just because, like, it made all of my friends talk about smoking weed differently. They'd be like smoking, they'd be like, yo, Nigel, try this dank weed I got from the caregiver. Don't you mean like a weed dealer? They're like, yo, we also got these brownies, man, these great edible treatments, man. You can medicate from the caregiver. I'm like, it's a weed dealer. They're like, yo, they even have like e-cigarettes now with THC in them. You can just go buy them from the caregiver. I'm like, it's a weed dealer! Come on, I don't go to McDonald's and call the person behind the counter a nutritionist. All right? I don't go to the street corner and ask the woman there if she could be a sexual therapist. All right? Just kidding, I don't use prostitutes. They're expensive, the quality's not that good, and my fiance won't let me. No, like, the thing is caregiver, dude, this is bullshit. Caregiver, I'm a kindergarten teacher. I'm a fucking caregiver, all right? I'm the one giving care here. But it just makes me think, why, like, I think there's stuff in weed that might be medicine, but I don't think actually smoking a joint is medicine. And I know that because you never see bad commercials back home for, like, marijuana medicine on television. Like, you're never watching it, like those bad infomercials where it's like someone's sad and confused on the screen, like, is you or a loved one suffering from motivation, alertness, awareness in everyday life? Then perhaps you or your loved one should try marijuana. Marijuana can help with such symptoms as keeping your eyelids open or Dorito deficiency. Side effects may include watching movies that rate 3.0 or lower on IMDb. And eating your Dorito supplements from 7-Eleven before you've even checked out of the store. Ask your doctor today if marijuana is right for you. So yeah, that's the best part about going home, but I guess it's okay to see my family sometimes. Like my mom always gives me the best advice. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a professional surfer and a professional comedian. My mom would say to me, Nigel, you don't want to do that. Everything stops being fun once it becomes your job. That's why I never became a prostitute. Shit, Mom. That's why I never became a drug dealer. Thank you. Yeah. So that's my mom. And then I got my little sister. I got two sisters. My little sister's cool, but she was really annoying in high school because my parents divorced and they didn't talk to each other. It was a bad divorce. And my sister would play off that. She'd say, Nigel, I just told mom that I'm going to stay at dad's house tonight, but really I'm just going to go to a party. Like, Addie, don't do that. That's not going to end well for you. They're going to find out eventually. Like, Nigel, what do you know? This is going to be fun. Like, Addie, I have seen this movie twice before. Once with her older sister, and then again with me. And let me tell you, the third sequel is always the shittiest movie. All right? It's not like Star Wars. That was the first Star Wars. That was a trilogy. All three movies were planned when the first one came out. But Addie, you weren't planned. Okay? All right? I know that you're the shittiest sequel because you came out 16 years after the first movie. And mom decided to change directors. Yeah. No, she is beautiful. She's also 17, so fuck off, pervert. All right. So yeah, that's going home for me, and that's why I'm in Beijing with you weirdos. And some of you are weird and not in a good way. Even in Beijing, man. I was at a dinner party a few weeks ago because that's the only party that my fiance lets me go to now. And there was this one single guy there, and he was intent on making every guy that was with a couple feel bad that they're not still single. Like, being single is the right option. He's like swiping through his Tinder, bragging about all the girls he's hooked up with. He stops on one girl. He's like, yeah, man, I want to see this girl again. We hooked up last Sunday. I made her come 13 times. 13 times? Just like, that's bullshit, right? My fiance overheard it. She makes eye contact with me. I'm like, that's bullshit, right? Right? Because I need that to not be true, right? I'm like Edson earlier. I thought that sex was more like soccer. Like, if you score a goal like once every other game, you're a pretty good player. But this dude's putting up basketball numbers. And it's 19? That means he had a three-pointer in there somewhere. Like, how does that even work in sex? Like, is that like an all-insertion orgasm? Like, well, I don't know what that is. It's like, and I just started like breaking it down. I'm like, 15 times, that can't be true. You know, first of all, that's an oddly specific number, right? It's an oddly specific number. Like, how did he keep count? Like, because he would have run out of fingers. And also, shouldn't your fingers be a little bit busy if you're making her come 15 times? Fucking 18 times. What the fuck is this bullshit with this? I started like thinking about it. I'm like, maybe you could make a girl come 19 times in a year. But 19 times in one day? She might have said, I'm coming 19 times. But she didn't actually come 19 times. And you know what? I know you've never made a girl come because you believed her all 19 times that she said that. But I'm insecure, so I saw him in a bar like a week later. I'm like, so dude, what's your secret? How'd you do it? He looks at me, he's all like, I used what she referred to as my oral magic. First of all, it's a gross way to talk about eating pussy. Second of all, you made a girl come 19 times in one day with just your tongue? Like, didn't your tongue get tired and need a break? Right? Like, how fast is this girl getting off? Does she have like a medical condition where she's just having compulsive orgasms? And she's falling out of her chair at work while she's working on her spreadsheets? Like, what is that? Like 19 times in one day with your tongue? Like, do you get like a training regimen for your tongue, man? Like, you get your tongue running marathons? Your tongue from Kenya or something? Like, what's going on? Like, with that 19 times, like, do you got like a little tongue-sized gym at home? And like, you've got your tongue like doing bicep curls, like lifting, bro? You're all like, do you got like a little like boxing speed bag over in the corner where you're all like, I don't know, but maybe it happened. But if it did happen, he didn't make her come 19 times. She came 19 times with his help. Because sex is like dancing. There's always one partner who's leading it. It's never the guy. It can't be the guy because every vagina is different. And if you're hooking up for the first time, you don't know what dance that vagina is going to like. You don't know. Like, some vaginas like the cha-cha. Some vaginas like the merengue. But every penis is like a drunk dude in a nightclub. Womp, 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 womp. Thank you. That makes me feel like this is going pretty well, which is good. I was nervous. I was nervous before I showed up. I'm nervous before every show. That's why I have rituals. Like a sports star, I got rituals. I got rituals like, for instance, I get a haircut. That way I know I look good. I want to look good on stage, so I get a haircut so I know I look good. Even if I'm wearing a hat, I know I look good. I mean, come on. I'll show you guys. I'll show you. Like, yeah. There we go. I get a little mama. No, the other thing I do is I wear my favorite shirt. Represent my favorite country, you know? Let everybody know, no matter where I go, the best t-shirts are made in China. Come on, dude, I've never even been to Morocco. My sister gave this to me as a present. But it's weird because, like, it's got Arabic on it, and I have a beard. And a bunch of people automatically think that I'm, like, from Morocco, that I'm, like, Arab and stuff. I'm like, thanks, dude. Note to self, never wear this shirt in an airport. Thank you. How to get rid of your white privilege in one easy step. Just that Arabic. Yeah. So the other ritual, though, that I got is before every show, I have to eat pizza. I eat pizza because pizza's like sex. Pizza's like sex. It comforts me. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And an old guy once told me that pizza's like sex. Pizza's like sex. When it's good, it's great. When it's bad, it's still kind of good. And I just feel like I can take that metaphor even further. Like, for instance, like some nights I just go way too hard eating pizza. And when I'm finished, I just feel tired and I'd pass out. And the only thing better than eating pizza at night for dinner is rolling over the next morning and having some leftover pizza for breakfast, right? Pizza's like sex. Pizza's like sex because sometimes I have trouble finishing my pizza and my friends are like, yo, can I have your leftovers? Yeah, dude. No, pizza's like sex. Pizza's like sex because if you get really desperate, you can dial a number and have pizza delivered right to your door. Come on, you never seen the cards in the hotels in China? Man, that's a thing. They do that here. But no. Lately I've been getting tired of eating pizza. Maybe because I've been eating the same pizza from the same restaurant once a week for about 3 or 4 years. But I'm loyal. It is good pizza. It's tasty pizza. I'm really loyal to the owner of this pizza shop. I know she'd be really upset if I started eating pizza somewhere else. So, like, I'm not doing that. Another thing is, like, you know, like, I like the toppings on this pizza. Very traditional toppings. Like, I used to like these hippie artisanal pizzas with all these crazy toppings. I don't like that anymore because I don't like things getting caught in my teeth while I'm eating it. Did that joke go a hair too far? I'm sorry. I don't know. I should stick to beating around the bush, right? Okay. Yeah, no, pizza's like, this is like the thing because, like, there's weird hours at this pizza shop. Like, you know, they'll close for like a week, once a month for no reason. And then if I want pizza, I gotta make it myself. But it's like never quite the same, doesn't taste as good. And then I get like all the ingredients everywhere. I make a big mess and I've gotta clean it up afterwards. It's just not as good. So I don't know if you got this, but I'm in a relationship. And it's weird because, you know, it's China, so there's a lot of interracial, intercultural dating going on, and I'm no different. But this girl that, you know, I'm engaged to now, like, she speaks English with a really thick accent. It's really hard to understand. And, like, she's always trying to get me to eat this weird food, and, like, she wants me to like drinking tea when I'm American. I'm a coffee guy, and it's just really hard. It's really hard living in China and being engaged to a British person. Yeah. But I love her. We've been on some really, really great dates. I remember one of our first dates, because, you know, first dates are kind of like a test, you know? And so I just, you know, remember we bought rollerblades. We decided to go rollerblading around the stadium in Beijing. And so we get out of the cab, and then we realize we've left the rollerblades in the trunk of the cab. So this is where the test comes in, because she just looks at me and says, well, how fast can you run? So I bolt down the street. I'm running as fast as I can. Luckily, there was a red light. I get the rollerblades out of the car. I'm walking back. I'm holding them up in the air. She's like 500 meters down the road, jumping up and down, like I've saved the day. Comes up to me. We meet in the middle. Gives me a big old hug, and we're walking back arm in arm. And then I realize a bunch of people have seen this happen from the side of the road, like wondering what's going on. So I'm walking back and she's all cuddling with me, and this one dude who's selling bootleg CDs out of the club, like, is just like trying to like give me the eye, like my eye contact with me. So I look at him and he smiles. He's like with his music, and then I smile back and make eye contact with him, and he kind of gives me a wink because we both know in that moment that I'm going to be dancing later that night. All right, guys. That's about it for our show tonight. That's about it. I'm about done. I want to thank you all for coming. Remind you guys one more time. My name is Nigel Mainville, and if you don't believe me, here's my passport. Thank you.